Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Hangman teaches kids that public execution is the only appropriate response to spelling words wrong. Have you ever thought about that? I'm showing you this picture. Have you ever thought about that?
No, it's very serious. I haven't thought about Hangman in a while. That's a very serious game I forgot about when we played as children.
Realize how seriously we took Hangman when I was growing up and playing it as a kid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a Monday edition of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Once again, all right, we are on location, live from the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton in Omaha. We're here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Doors open daily from 10:30 a.m. to midnight through June 21st. Corner of 12th and Cass. Can't miss the big white tent for Blur parties on the south side of Cass Street. This is the 13th annual tailgate with an all-inclusive bar and buffet, 18 TVs showing live baseball games, multiple seating options, including, Jake, a hammock. All right,
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Buy tickets at the door, more preferably. Please purchase at www.blurevents.com/Omaha. All right, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show. As always, you can grab lunch. Come join us. What you're going to get, unique insight and bridled honesty. And producer Jake is back.
That's right.
We're going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. What you can hear, Husker sports, college football, sports in general. Jake, have you heard? Today's show is loaded. Have you ever heard that? Have you heard that? This show is loaded?
I would expect nothing less. If we came in and with not much to talk about, especially the College World Series, then I would feel a little bit bad. But it seems to be every show is loaded. So
it's funny. This weekend I had someone ask me. They're like, are your shows really that loaded? Like, do you really have that much to talk about? Like, 2 hours, 4 days a week, 8 hours a week. That's a lot. I'm like, have you ever listened to the show? Have you ever listened to how I try to get everything in? And I rarely do. And Jake can attest. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages worth of stuff over here, and Lord knows how many screenshots over here. So, yes, as always, it is a loaded show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a ton to talk about. College World Series, all right. The NBA Finals, which seriously is one of the most intriguing NBA Finals in easily over half a decade, at least for me. And I think the ratings would bear that out as well. So, College World Series, NBA Finals, Caitlin Clark is back. Probably going to talk a little bit more WNBA as the summer rolls along as well. And probably at some point, I don't know, maybe un poquito El Futbol de Husker. What do you think of that?
I love that. Yeah.
What do you think about Spanish? D-?
that I don't love so much. I think you got to go football Americano because you just said
I
soccer,
did.
So we're not going to get too much into that. Maybe.
Did you take you had to have taken a foreign language in high school or college,
I did.
right?
Yeah.
What'd you take?
Well, I took Spanish. I guess in both. Yeah, because I didn't finish it up in high school, so I had to do a little bit in college.
2 years?
I did 2 years in high school and then basically 4 years in college to redo it because I'd lost somewhat of what I'd learned.
So let me get this straight. You're critiquing my Spanish, and you had to take 84 years of a foreign language just to get the 2 years worth of credits
I'm certified now. I got all the way through. I speak fluent Spanish.
Fluent Spanish?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I haven't used it either, so I forgot most of it.
In all seriousness, like if I went down to Mexico and I took a cruise and I needed an interpreter, are you the guy I take or are you the guy I don't take?
No, I mean I could get some sentences out, but generally, if you want to, no, I wouldn't be helpful.
All right. I'm actually impressed with the little bit that I did retain because as small as that amount is, thank you, it's actually a whole lot more than I thought it would be all these years later. So actually my kids are now in middle school taking Espanol.
You can help them then.
Well, I didn't say that. I just said they're in middle school taking Espanol, which is probably, like I said, it's more than I thought I would retain, but it's definitely way below what 2 years of Spanish should still be in my memory bank. But all right, man, let's kick it off today. You got some info on the College World Series right off the top. I mean, we are sitting here in Omaha, live on location at Blur Tailgate. Come down, come join us, ladies and gentlemen. The College World Series has been going on all weekend. Some great games, some great storylines. You got the Cinderellas, you got the favorites, you got the big names, you got all sorts of different conferences, all sorts of firsts this year. I diatribed them and laid them out on Friday, so I'm not going to do that again. You can go back and check out Friday's show if you're interested in all that. But what has taken place over the weekend, Jake? Where are we at now in the College World Series?
Well, it's fantastic to be here. I say that I didn't come out on Friday, so coming out here, I'll come out Wednesday as well. And what you have to see here this year is the giant Mike the Tiger float that's going around. And I saw him. We will have a LSU game on the docket today against UCLA later, just to kind of get the games that are on today so you can kind of get ready for them. That one's at 6 o'clock. And neither of those teams have lost, so that will not be an elimination game. We open the day with an elimination game. Elimination games are my favorite. You know, there's just a lot on the line.
Yes.
And we'll have Arkansas and Murray State. Arkansas, of course, Davian Horn. Maybe a lot of people considered the favorite coming in. They were the highest seed coming in with the number 3 overall ranking. And Murray State, of course, again, the darling so far. But if you want to go through what we've seen over the weekend, we did have one team exit. So on Friday, Oregon State beat Louisville 4-3. Coastal Carolina beat Arizona 7-4. Moved to Saturday, LSU took the night game from Arkansas 4-1, and UCLA outlasted Murray State 6-4. Then yesterday we had Coastal Carolina defeat the Beavers of Oregon State 6-2, and Louisville in the first elimination game survives with an 8-3 victory over Arizona. So our friends from the Big 12 now are headed back home and from Arizona. Maybe. Sometimes you see fans kind of still stick around because they planned a whole weekend and a few weeks, maybe a week around it. So we'll see how many Arizona fans linger throughout the remainder of the College World Series in Omaha. But, I mean, how can you hate it? The elimination games, again, I just love the intensity that it brings here as teams are feeling this close to a championship, yet they're going to have to overcome the odds now at this point.
So it's interesting to me. Well, I'm going to come back to that because I love double elimination. All right. I have ever since I was 10, but we'll come back to that because Coastal Carolina has now won 25 games in a row. The hottest team in the country won the national title just a few years ago. They won it all a few years ago, but I still can't help but see them as a Cinderella type. Now, Murray State is the ultimate Cinderella here, okay? I still can't help but see them as a Cinderella type because even though Fresno State won the championship in 2008, had they come back then, a couple years later, you associate them with the level of the conference that they're in, I think. And so I would have seen them as an underdog, even though they won it in 08. That's just kind of how I view it. Again, Murray State, the ultimate Cinderella, the ultimate underdog, something that I still advocate for in college football. And I don't care if I die on that hill alone, because I'm willing to do so. And if I'm shouted down by the masses, it's okay. I still root for Cinderella. If we're going to have 94 teams in the playoff, what does one Cinderella matter anyways? But you look at Coastal Carolina, they won 25 in a row, as you mentioned, beat Arizona. And actually the Chanticleers scored 3 runs on a 2-out rally in the bottom of the 8th inning in order to beat the Wildcats on Friday. Again, we got elimination games today going on throughout the week as well. We will eventually crown a national champ. Who do you have winning it all, Jake?
Well, you kind of look at the teams that are in good position now to do so. Coastal Carolina, as you mentioned, the only team so far to punch their ticket to Wednesday's winning bracket. So they still have a little bit. I mean, they could lose twice still before getting the championship series. They've definitely got to be one of the favorites. I think LSU, though. I think I got to go with LSU. They've got a chance here against UCLA. I'm cheering again for UCLA. As a Big Ten brethren, I suppose. I'm one of those people that does that. But still, LSU came in again into the tournament, one of the higher-ranked teams, ranked 6th in the nation. And, some of the top teams didn't make it. So they'd be right there, and they're well-positioned if they can beat UCLA tonight.
It's interesting because when Nick was on the show Friday, he didn't outright say it, and maybe I read too much into what he said, but he kind of, the way it came across to me, and I'm sure he'll be on plenty throughout this week. He can clear it up if I'm wrong on this. But I almost felt like you root for the other Big Ten teams because you want the Big Ten to look good, helps Nebraska look good, et cetera, et cetera. I almost got kind of from his tone. Okay, this is me surmising from his tone that he kind of was like, people who do that, maybe he wasn't the craziest about that. Maybe part of that is it's still hard to see UCLA as a Big Ten team. I'm always going to root. Like I said, we went through this with Creighton. I'm going to root for Creighton to a point, but then that point is enough. With Big Ten teams, I'm going to root for them to go as far as they can because it helps Nebraska look better. And so I'm doing that also with UCLA. Maybe some people feel a little bit differently. It's interesting with Arkansas, the only top 5 seed in the country that made it here. UCLA was 6th. Arkansas was the only top 5 seed in the country that made it here. That's the first time that's ever happened at the College World Series. So you look at, again, Coastal Carolina, red hot. Who'd you take as your favorite? You said LSU?
I said LSU.
I mean, they are the most well-known baseball school, okay, out of all the schools. Like, growing up, I actually thought of, no disrespect to their football program, they've obviously won a ton of games. I thought of them as a baseball school first, just as a kid watching the College World Series. Every year, LSU was in it. And it seemed to me, all right, they won it like almost every freaking year. So LSU, probably the most historically known baseball program here. Obviously, some other great programs, as you mentioned, UCLA, and you got Arkansas, Coastal Carolina's red hot, Oregon State. Then you got the darlings, the Cinderellas like Murray State and things of that nature. Man, I tell you what, this is not the year, in my opinion, for the higher-rated seeds to win. I'm going to go with the red hot team. I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to go with Coastal Carolina.
Hey, there you go.
They're just red hot. It's not about being the best team throughout the whole year. It's about being the hottest team at the right time of the year, and they seem to be that team right now for me. You mentioned they're the only team that's clearly in the winner's bracket heading into Wednesday. So that's a big advantage right there. You can save your pitchers, you're fresher, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think they're definitely in a solid position, like you said. I mean, and they've needed their head coaches had to come out and say, we're not a Cinderella. We've won before. Now winning 25
to guys
straight.
like me.
Right. It's just hard. It's hard to overcome that obstacle, and you get that. But I mean, if you win 2 times, I mean, at some point you're gonna have to say, yeah, that's more of a powerhouse than a darling here. So, but it's fun, and I think the conference rooting thing is particularly interesting. We talk about that over time, and maybe with Nebraska switching conferences, that maybe has alienated some people from that feeling. But in baseball, especially, the Big Ten is just not a baseball conference. We know that, and we also know that the new additions we're going to help in that area. What better way to help than to swing through and win a national championship right out of the gate? I don't think I'd have to look this up, but I don't think the Big Ten's ever won a baseball national championship. Michigan was in the World Series a few years ago. I think they even made it to the finals, but it's rare that we see a run from a Big Ten team. UCLA still maybe doesn't feel like the Big Ten, but if you do root for conference, I think specifically in baseball, it's more important. And remember, this isn't like in football, sometimes you want to argue, well, I want Michigan to win. Well, what does that really mean for Nebraska? They're 7-6 one way or the other. And this is a Nebraska team that won the Big Ten tournament, including beating UCLA. So it kind of directly maybe would make you feel better about Nebraska. Some people are already kind of settled in on what they feel about the season one way or the other, I suppose.
No, that's a fair point. I think part of it is you look at UCLA. It's still hard for me to think of those West Coast schools as a Big Ten. Like I was watching track the other day, USC's track team. Their 4x4 team took the championship, and I think they either tied or won the whole national championship, the track team. I'll be honest with you, I was at a 9U baseball tournament. I was casually watching in between making waffles for my kids, so I wasn't paying close attention, but I saw the Big Ten logo on the track uniforms. Like, oh, yeah, they're representing us. I need to root for them specifically. Like, you're still getting used to that. And if I'm being honest, have Nebraska fans, do they yet feel comfortable being part of the Big Ten ourselves? Have we gotten to that point? Because clearly, okay, the Big Ten, I feel like, has thumbed their nose at us a little bit, to a lot of it. Part of that is due to some calls over the years on the gridiron, the old football field. When we entered in, I mean, we didn't get the Texas and the SEC treatment. Texas played Georgia, and that was really their toughest opponent by far in the SEC year one. I swear to God, we played Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, the Patriots, and the Giants all in our first 2 years in the Big Ten. They were going to make sure we didn't win the title. At least that's how it felt. So I do think Nebraska fans, for the most part, are like, we're a Big Ten school. I know a lot of folks would love to go back to the Big 12. That's never going to happen, by the way, especially monetarily. I know a lot of fans in our off-season, not off-season, but non-conference schedule, they'd love to just do a rotation. Let's play K-State. Let's play Colorado. Let's play Kansas. Let's play even Missouri, who's in the SEC. Let's just do like an old Big 8 rotation, and a lot of people would get behind that. Do you think that plays a factor in who people do or do not root for, whether it's UCLA or other schools? You make a great point. I mean, we brought in these West Coast schools for the TV money, for the national exposure, for a whole lot more revenue, which they've done. But let's be real, we really brought them in to help us win baseball national titles, right?
That's right. And I think too, and it's almost something that's probably going to be, I wouldn't say, alien to folks, in a few years, but at a certain point, it does make less sense to root for your conference too, because, back when it was the Big 8, especially, you're really regional. I mean, you're really arguing on behalf of the region that you're in. And we'd look out at UCLA and USC and say, wow, those West Coast hippies, always out there. So, it was just kind of a different culture. And now trying to root for the Big Ten for a nationwide conference, it just feels a little bit different in doing it that way as well. So I don't know. I mean, I wonder how much of that is going to change. I mean, and it kind of gets to a point too, the Big Ten and the SEC, they're in a league of their own. So it's almost like, yeah, I'll root for the Big Ten against the SEC, but do I really need to root for the Big Ten against, the Big 12 or the ACC? We kind of know the standings.
I actually find myself, like, when it comes to baseball, I want to be better than the ACC right now. Because most people look like last year's World Series, it was all SEC and ACC teams. And I've talked about the Southern teams having that advantage. All right, most of the ACC teams are in the South, not 100%, but most of them. And so right now, I think a lot of people would consider the ACC to be ahead of the Big Ten in baseball. It used to be that way in basketball, maybe not so much anymore, definitely not in football or in the majority of sports. But when it comes to baseball, I think most people see SEC 1, ACC 2. All right. And I don't know, is the Big 10 or Big 12 next? But I'd like to be ahead of the ACC, so we're the clear-cut number 2 in baseball/softball, because I think we can get to that point with the quality of, I don't want to say brands. I hate saying brands in college football, but brands in college sports, but brands with the schools, with the revenue that's being made. Like the amount of money the Big 10 schools are making compared to the ACC, it's not even comparable, to be honest with you. It is a completely different universe, which is why Nebraska will never, for those who want us to go back to the Big 12, will never leave the Big 10, nor should they. As much as I would love that, all right, they're never going to do it, nor should they.
Would you still love that? Because I would have one time I've loved that, but the Big 12 you're going home to is not the same Big 12 you left.
So as soon as I said that, and I'm glad you actually brought it up, because as soon as I said that, Gag Me U's logo and OU's logo popped right into my head, because that's the Big 12 I think of.
Yeah.
But you're right. Now it's like Houston and
Central Florida.
I almost said SMU, but they're in the ACC, and the Cal and Stanford are in the ACC. So I'm like, wait, it's Cincinnati, it's Memphis, it's Central Florida. Oh, Central Florida, boy, then would that be a heck of a game. But my point is, your point is valid and correct. It's not the Big 12 that it used to be. And like I said, we're not going to leave, never should leave unless things drastically change. But I just know a lot of folks, and if in a perfect world, we could have the Missouri, Kansas State, Colorado, Gag Me U, Oklahoma State, and that old Big 12 might be a different conversation, but that's of yesteryear, never going to come back. Nebraska baseball put this out on X a couple of days ago. Nebraska baseball is one of 8 schools to finish top 15 in average attendance every season since 2015. That's pretty impressive, man. Husker Nation truly is something unique, something special, a passionate fan base, and it transcends to every sport. Basketball, Pinnacle Bank Arena, women's, men's. I still remember when the women beat Caitlin Clark in Iowa on that Sunday afternoon, and the place was going crazy. Iowa's number 2 in the country a couple seasons ago. You know, there's certain things stick out in your mind. Husker Nation truly is unique, truly is special. You got any final thoughts? Because we're going to go to the NBA playoffs. Caitlin Clark is now back. You got any final thoughts on baseball, the College World Series, or anything else before we move forward there?
Well, just when we're talking about the great fans of Lincoln, Nebraska, or of Nebraska in general, it always makes you proud and kind of think, yeah, this is the greatest fan base out there. I wonder if that also factors into maybe people not jumping behind UCLA as a Big Ten team here in the College World Series, because they don't generally travel well. In fact, they don't travel across Los Angeles more often than not to get to the Rose Bowl if their college football team is not in the playoff hunt. So I always kind of think that's funny. And granted, it does take a couple hours to get anywhere in Los Angeles. I get that. But, I mean, that's always their excuse is, well, yeah, but the students are so far off campus compared to the Rose Bowl. That's why they don't pack it out. It's like, well, I don't care if I'm a Nebraska fan. I'll travel, 2 hours to a Nebraska game. Unfortunately, we can't really do that as much anymore because all the road games are away, but are further away, I should say. But so, I mean, to expect a fan base to travel across country when they won't even travel 2 hours in their own city, you wonder how many UCLA fans will show up. But I've done College World Series long enough. I worked in TV behind it for several years, and I know that the exciting part about the College World Series is sometimes when you do get to the final round, you get those 2 teams playing best 2 out of 3, and then those fan bases really kind of file in and come see if their team can win a championship. So I'll be interested. It's kind of weird. Not everybody's interested in that stuff, but I will be counting UCLA fans later today.
Will we need both hands? Bad joke. Sorry, I apologize.
See.
All right. So you brought up the Pac-12 and what it kind of, or the Big 12 and what it kind of looks like. And I had this thing ready to talk about the Pac-12. All right. So currently the schools that are going to be in the newly formed Pac-12, it's right now it does not currently exist, but these are the schools who are fully in for the newly formed Pac-12 when it does come. Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Utah States. A lot of states there. All right. Gonzaga will also join as a non-football member. These teams will begin competing in the Pac-12 in the fall of the 2026-2027 academic year. And then there are other teams who have signed their grant of rights now. All right, that wonderful ACC term that you hear all that's not just the ACC, but you associate it with the ACC and ESPN and all that when it comes to the college football landscape and future on the gridiron. But here are the schools who officially signed their grant of rights. So Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, Tulane, all right, Fresno State, Gonzaga, again, non-football, Utah State, UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio, the Roadrunners, all right, Memphis, Oregon State, Washington State. And which one is that? Is that Utah State?
I think that's Texas State.
Texas, that's right. It was just the logo. I couldn't remember. Great pull there. Texas State Bobcats. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 schools now who've signed their grant of rights. What are your thoughts on the upcoming new Pac-12? Will you ever see them as a Power 4 conference? The answer is no. But can they be seen as the top G5 conference, or will that still be the AAC?
Well, it's interesting because usually it has been the case whenever the American anybody makes a move there, they get kind of picked off and taken by one of the bigger conferences. But now we're seeing maybe that slowly died down. We're kind of seeing some settling in. I think it'll be exciting. I mean, I think you kind of think about maybe the late 2000s version of the Mountain West Conference was really exciting with Boise State and some of those teams in there.
Utah
as well.
was there at the time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, so that I think that they could probably get up to there, and good for Oregon State and Washington State for having something to kind of fall into. But they're ultimately the losers of this round of conference realignment because, as you stated earlier, there's just not the brand names there to compete and to get up that high. Again, maybe we won't know 40, 50 years from now. You said Utah. I mean, we've seen Central Florida, all these teams kind of move from that area into the Power 4. But again, that's what I would kind of think would happen is if one of those teams really made a brand for themselves, they might eventually get picked off.
Well, the thing that Utah and UCF have going for them, and Memphis and Cincinnati, where all those teams are located are large cities.
Yeah.
You've got Salt Lake City, you've got Orlando, Florida, you've got Memphis and Cincinnati. Pullman is there's nothing to do there but overhydrate yourself. I'm just going to be blunt. All right, I've been there a million times. Corvallis, been there a million times. Corvallis is actually beautiful, got a lot of things going on for it, but it will just always be Oregon's little brother. And that's not me taking a shot. I grew up in the Northwest. I went to the Oregon State football camp for 4 straight years in high school. It is what it is. It's a gorgeous area. It's just never going to quite get to that level. And I'm going to explain why I like double elimination tournaments the best out of all the postseason formats. Okay, when we come back after break, but I'm still going to advocate. Okay, and I'm starting to finally take time to look ahead to how I would do college football if I just had the blank slate, my utopian world, and I could just do everything the way I want. It would start with 4 power conferences that are more equally balanced, not a 2 and a 2 and everybody else. 4 equally balanced conferences. Notre Dame, you join one of these conferences, and there would be 2 G5 conferences. Everyone else, I mean, they're going to make it to 40, 50 top schools, have all the power in the future anyway. So I would just make 2 G5 conferences. If it's the Pac-12 or the Pac-16 or whatever it turns into in the future, the Pac-20 and the AAC and everybody else gets relegated down.
Sorry, Mac.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mac. I'm okay with that. Well, there's like 5 MAC schools in Ohio. There's too many to begin with.
You're not wrong.
Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio, Akron, Ohio. I mean, there's 4 off that's – well, Cincinnati is out of the MAC. They were that – so there's 4 now. There used to be 5 because they used to be in the MAC ages ago. And it's just like, oh, my gosh, how many do you need, okay? My point simply is I would have 2 G5 conferences, and then like I pointed out before, the champions – I said the top 2 rated, but what I'd really have is a champion of the Pac-12, the champion of the ACC. They'd play, and the winner would automatically get a bid in the playoff. And that's how I would do it at some point in the future. At least that's what I'm thinking about right now. Again, I'll talk about that more later in July. When we come back, NBA Finals talk, Caitlin Clark talk, why I prefer the double elimination format as my favorite postseason format, and I have ever since I was a kid. At the top of the hour, we're going to dive into some Husker football win total predictions, Emmett Johnson being overlooked. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still, though, have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G2893558.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies, be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 94. Tonight, showers and storms are likely. Some of those could be severe, still low near 68. And tomorrow, showers and storms continuing throughout the day. See an afternoon high near 84. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Once again, don't forget, we are live from Blur Tailgate at the Hilton in Omaha. We are here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Doors open daily from 10:30 a.m. to midnight through June 21st. Located at the corner of 12th and Cass. Can't miss the big white tent for Blur parties on the south side of Cass Street. This is the 13th annual tailgate with an all-inclusive bar, buffet, 18 TVs showing live baseball games, multiple seating options, including a hammock. I love hammocks. They just don't love me, Jake. I think it's my size.
That could be.
My kids say I have a lot. They used to say muscle. Now they say muscle guts. That doesn't sound as complimentary. But let's move on, shall we? All right, ladies and gentlemen, buy tickets at the door, or more preferably, please purchase at www.blurevents.com/Omaha. Did you know that Tiger, and you weren't here Friday, it was right there, the one you referenced earlier? Yeah. Do you know how much it like they spent on it? How much it's worth?
Oh, I did hear what you guys were saying. It was a crazy amount, wasn't it?
Half a
$500,000.
million. That's amazing.
That's a lot for a big tiger like that. I think, you know what? I think I could do it cheaper.
I bet you could do it cheaper. I won't. Yeah, that's like 3 of my parents' house, man.
Yeah,
You'd have to multiply it by 3. That's crazy to me. All right, random stat time. So we were talking about new Pac-12 schools, former Pac-12 schools, Big 12 schools. Came across this random stat. Utah, teams that have winning records, the best records against the University of Utah in football. Nebraska is 4-0. That's what caught my eye to begin with. Otherwise, I don't really care. But Nebraska's 4-0. We played them in 1968, 131-0. All right, 1980, 55-9, 1989, 42-30, and in 1992 we mollywopped them 49-22. But you look at the rest of this. Army is 3-0, and obviously Washington, Oregon are going to be on this list. Iowa State 5-1. Rice, the football team, not the food, is 5-1. Houston is 5-0. But this was the other one that caught my eye besides Nebraska. Salt Lake City YMCA is 5-0 versus the University of Utah in football. So I had to do a little recon on this. All right, here's what I found out. The University of Utah fielded its first football team for the 1892 season and only played one match. Yeah, it's football. We're not talking soccer here. I had to double check real quick. One match.
Okay.
1892 lingo. The road game against Utah Agricultural College, who later became Utah State University. Dude, I'm learning more and more stuff as I look into this.
Yeah.
That's where Utah State was called before. Resulted in a loss 12-0. When Utah, was first introduced to the sport, football was highly controversial. It was frequently viewed as too brutal and dangerous to be played. So I watched, it was when college football turned 150 years old, it was like 3 years ago, going into the season. They had all these little 30-minute documentaries. And one of them was about how after the world wars were over, there was a legit concern that young men were going to become soft. And so that was one of the reasons they started putting more and more young men, teenagers, kids, college kids into football, was to toughen them up back in the day. But this article is saying it was thought to be too dangerous. Injuries and even fatal incidents were not uncommon. And that was part of that documentary too. They talked about how there were some guys who actually died on the football field back then.
Yeah.
All right. As a result, many questioned the need for legislative action to limit the sport, and some schools suspended their football programs altogether. All right. They did not play in 1893 as a result. All right. Now, as you scroll down through the article, later Utah celebrated the opening of its new football playing grounds as they took on the local YMCA team. So they brought their football team back. The university lost 14-0 and moved to a disappointing 0-2 record on Thanksgiving. Utah matched with the city high school team again in front of the Fort Douglas band. The Utah 11 defeated the high school 14-6. Could you imagine University of Nebraska taking on Omaha West Side, a power, and only beating them 14-6 though?
I don't even know, but is the YMCA, is that a power? Or is that just like the rec ball group coming together? And
well, so it calls them the YMCA team. The university lost 14-0, moved to a disappointing 0-2 on Thanksgiving. Utah matched with the city high school team again.
Oh, so it is a high school team.
Again, because that word again is key in there. Okay, in front of the Fort Douglas band, the Utah 11, I guess that must be the university team they're talking about, defeated the high school team 14-6, earning its first ever victory. Could you imagine University of Nebraska playing Omaha West Side and winning 14-6? Oh, the insanity.
Celebrating first victory.
Mayhem Monday would be crazy here on the ticket. All right. And I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Obviously, Utah's come a long way since then. They're playing really good football and have been for quite a while. In my opinion, Kyle Whittingham. Dude, if I was to pick the most underrated college football coach in the country, let me pause, see if I can think of anyone else that I would put above Kyle Whittingham. Man, I can't. I mean, James Franklin, I think, is somehow underrated.
That's an interesting take.
I think at Penn State, I mean, when you're winning 10 games, it's what we used to have here at Nebraska. You win 9 games, you get upset. All right. And I've talked about this before. After the 1991 Citrus Bowl 1990 season, Nebraska lost pretty handily to eventual co-national champ Georgia Tech. And Osborne called all his coaches together and said, hey, you might as well start looking for new jobs. They're going to let us go. Obviously, they did not let him go. Things turned out all right after that. And I don't know that they're looking to let Franklin go, but it's kind of like he's winning 10 games every year, and people are questioning how good of a coach he is. So to me, that makes him a little bit underrated. I will say this at some point. Man, I tell you what, I really like Penn State this year. They remind me a lot of Ohio State and Michigan the past 2 years. And I remember last offseason saying this is going to make Ohio State fans mad, but they remind me of Michigan the year before. A lot of veterans, a lot of guys who came back, to win a title. Also, Ohio State, they paid their own players to bring them back, which is key. I feel like Penn State did a lot of similar things. If you look at the rankings for the top running backs in the Big Ten, they got number 1, number 2. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. Then they've got an offensive line. They got the most experienced quarterback probably in the country. They're going to play great defense. Probably got the number 1 defensive coordinator in the country. Took him from Ohio State. The question is their wide receiving core, and they brought in some new guys. But Or are they going to be able to throw the ball vertically and threaten teams downfield? I mean, they made the semifinals last year. And really, at halftime, were controlling the game against Notre Dame. They were really very close to playing for a national title a year ago. So they're a team that I'm very high on this year. I don't know yet if I'm going to pick them over Ohio State. I'm going to pick them over Michigan and over Oregon. I'm going to have to kind of sift through that throughout the summer. I just thought that was some random, interesting stuff. University of Utah is 0-5 versus Salt Lake City YMCA in their history. All right, what is your favorite postseason type of playoff format?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on the sport. I think in order to get the best champion, I like what they do in pro baseball, pro basketball. When you have enough time, you can play enough games. We do a 7-game series. I think that eliminates kind of, especially a single game format where anything can kind of happen in any given game. You usually get the best teams proceeding through the playoffs. Now, it's not always the best either. I mean, because if you have those long kind of playoffs, you're going to have injuries, more things that kind of factor in there as well. So it's not perfect, but I think that's the best way to determine a champion.
So for me, when I was thinking about this, I factor in two things. Number one is what's the best way to determine a champion, and number two is what's the most exciting way to determine a champion. I could say the most exciting way is the NCAA tournament in basketball. It's also the worst way to determine a champion. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, especially in a sport like basketball, baseball, things like that. That's why you have these 7-game series, all right? And you got to take into account the sport. Like you said, it depends on the sport. Like you can't do a 7-game. I mean, you could in football, but I mean, you want to talk about playoffs literally taking forever, all right? Or you just have to have like 2 teams from the AFC, 2 from the NFC, best of 7. And even then it would take like 3-4 months. It's just not possible, okay? So for me, the most exciting format and best way to determine a champion, because sometimes when you've got a first round and a second round and a conference finals and an NBA final and everything's going 5, 6, 7 games, it can just get drawn out and taken forever. In my opinion, I like best of 3 series. That's something I've always really liked. You got to be beaten twice. If somebody beats you twice, it's hard to argue that you're better than them. All right, you have a second chance to try to beat somebody, yet every game means that much more. I've always liked the double elimination style. And it started when I was 10. Went to a baseball tournament, my first ever baseball tournament ever. All right. And we lost our first game. And immediately we had to play. We went to the losers bracket. We had to play another game. We had to win every game. We had to win 5 straight games just to get to the championship game. And then we ended up winning the whole thing. But that always has stuck with me because if you lose twice, like anybody can lose once, but if you lose twice, it's hard to argue that, hey, we're still the best team. No, you got beaten twice, either by the same team or by 2 teams out there. All right. Yet there's as much maximum value and pressure and intensity as you can put on every single game without just making it a single game elimination, which is the only issue I've ever had with the NCAA tournament. Is I don't think you're always going to get the best team winning at all, probably the least consistently of all the formats. So for me, I've always loved, and it's been ever since I experienced that. I remember there, because we did that a lot. We ended up being called the cardiac kids. We'd lose a lot of games, or we'd get down, and then we'd score like 10 runs in the 6th inning. And I just freaking loved that. And it's always stuck with me. I've always loved the double elimination style of format. Now, obviously, you can do that in baseball, and you can probably do it in basketball. And, softball, you can obviously do it like baseball. In football, that'd be challenging. You'd have to have far less teams into the postseason. So single elimination is probably the best way to go. And I do think while there's upsets in football, I think there's less upsets in football than there is in baseball, basketball, things like that. So for me, that's always been my favorite style of postseason format to determine a national title. And it's been ever since I was 10. I remember being absolutely just disgustingly dirty, dog tired, and I freaking loved it. And every game, especially if you lose right away, is maximum intensity, maximum pressure. Because if you get in the winner's bracket, now you can save your pitching. Now you've got the big time advantage. Now you've got to lose twice to a team that's probably played 3 games, probably running out of pitchers, and it's a gigantic advantage for you. So you've earned the right to have that advantage. But then if you lose, it's like, hey, you had a huge advantage and you lost twice. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Jake? I've always just found it to be my favorite style of determining a national champion. It's one of the things I've always loved about the men's and women's College World Series in baseball and softball.
Yeah, I think it's a format that especially works well for baseball. Like you said, a starting pitcher can definitely change the way that the game is played out, and certainly struggles from your starting rotation can do that just as much. So you kind of want to see the consistency of a team throughout the season kind of come into play there. So I love the College World Series format, and I do think that there is something unique. I've kind of been in the similar situation, again, just a rec ball thing, but still going through the losers bracket, it kind of unifies you as a team, because all of a sudden the pressure is up. You feel like the odds are against you, and to go through that run is a lot of fun. Then, as you said, if you go on the winners bracket, you just have, you can play your cards a little bit differently. So it's kind of a fun format for those reasons. But it is just kind of interesting as you go. I think everyone, I don't think any sport necessarily has it completely wrong. Now, I don't love the expanded college football playoff field for determining the best team, but you still, again, entertainment kind of factors in there. And what's always made me kind of interested in college basketball is that I agree with you. If I don't think a single game elimination tournament is the best way to do things, and we've seen it in college football, right? Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game, loses to them in the playoffs. Okay, who's the better team? Well, I guess Alabama, because they won the second time. I don't necessarily love that. But in college basketball, even though it feels like when you just throw 64, now 68 teams randomly into a pool, that's not the best way to determine it. But for some reason, UConn, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas are the teams that just keep winning.
Well, if you're the better team, you should still win. I'm just saying it's more – you make a great point. I'm just saying it's more likely there's going to be an upset.
Yeah.
Especially in sport like basketball. Somebody gets hot. Somebody makes a bunch of threes. Maybe the next game they're ice cold, but they just happen to get hot that game. Like if you watch the NBA Finals, you watch the World Series, you watch a bunch of these best of sevens, hockey, the Stanley Cups. Like one team will blow one team out by 30 points. The next game, they might lose by 30 points. So there's something to be said for adjustments as well. I know we got to go to a break. I have talked a ton, and we can come back and do this after break if you need a few minutes on this. I have talked a ton about the college football playoff formats that are available and the one that I like the best. And I keep alluding to, if I have my utopian world, start from scratch, can do whatever the heck I want to do, what I'm going to do with the college football playoff, or what I would do. And I'm going to get to that again in July as I get more time as life kind of slows down, I get more time to kind of look at that. But you have not spoken much about why you're not a fan of the expanded college football playoff. By the way, the College World Series, 8 teams. I'm just saying, 8 teams. Yeah. I love that to begin with. But anyways, what are you not a fan of with the expanded college football playoff, and what would you prefer it to look like? And again, you want to do that when we come back from break? So you don't have to rush?
All right. We can do that.
When we come back from break, Jake Bakoven is going to drop that knowledge and let us know how the college football playoff should really look. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency.
Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. This is the Jake Bakovin segment. We're in the middle of the Bach Block. The Adam Carriker Show and the captain is the Bach Block, known worldwide. This is going to be the Jake Bakovin segment. Jake, what is wrong with expanding the playoff in college football, and how do you believe it should be done?
Well, I do think it's an entertaining thing. I think we had fun with it last year, right? I always thought, if you just said, okay, this season we're going to do a 16-team playoff, 24, 48, whatever, I'd be entertained by whatever it might be, but I don't think it's the best way to determine a champion. What I always loved about college football specifically was that it was different than other sports. It wasn't all playoff based, and that the regular season really did matter from week to week. And maybe it's because I grew up in Nebraska and we had the 95 team, the 71 team, teams you could argue as all-time greats. Not only did I love the fact that in that season, if you lost, it could really damage your chances. Not every year a one-loss team would get in the championship picture, but also the all-time teams. Like, you can no longer be the best team of all time. So all that stuff kind of mattered to me. It was kind of fun doing it that way. And that's what I would prefer, is to go back to that. If I could really go back, it's funny because my plan for the future would be 1998 or something, just something like that. where you kind of get the regional aspect of conference alignment back. I don't mind. I mean, players can still get paid. I'm all for certain things that have changed in the sport. But others have I think, been a little bit detrimental. I still get excited for a September game. Texas and Ohio State is very exciting. But what we just watched happen with Ohio State is ultimately it's not going to factor all that much in to who wins the championship or not. And some would argue, yeah, that's how you should do it. You shouldn't have week one be that much big of a determination of what's going to happen. But I just love the regular season was that tough to get through. And it was that hard to win a championship that you couldn't take a break in a week. So if I could go back to it, you know what? I didn't ultimately hate the 4-team playoff. I think it gave you some room for error. The one thing about the BCS system or before that was that, occasionally there'd be 3 undefeated teams. And, like an Auburn in 2004, whatever, would be left out. And I don't love that. So I think that ultimately, I would love it if you could almost just do a +1 if you needed to that year. But ultimately, I think if I had to perfect it or go, my route, it would be 4-team playoff. That's even expanding from what I usually would say, which is the regular season ultimately mattering even more with just kind of the BCS era. I'm a BCS guy, so that's what I would love to do. But I do understand the frustration and the ultimate frustration of having an undefeated team, a la UCF, Florida State as of recently, and not being able to chance to play for a championship.
So would it be a 4-team playoff or would it be the BCS if it were up to you? 2 teams, essentially.
Like I said, if this is my world, it would be depending on if we need 4.
So there could be flexibility.
There would be flexibility.
I've always thought that would be all right because, I've always thought flexibility with who gets in, who doesn't get in. Like if there's 3 undefeated teams, then you have Auburn in. Okay, if there's a UCF undefeated, now my question to you would be, how would you handle a UCF team who's ranked around 10th, 11th? I think after they beat Auburn in the Final Four, I'd have to look it up. They were like 5th or 6th, but they're still not in the top 4. How would you handle a situation like that?
I think that if you go undefeated, you almost got to get in. And now you got to watch out for like the scheduling and stuff that goes on there. So I would make sure everybody's schedule is up to par, I suppose. But I think if you're undefeated and you don't get a chance to play for a championship, that's just almost sickening to me. Because it's weird, that way the college football and the BCS system did work because it's not an exact science, right? You just have 128 teams or whatever it is, up to 136, whatever it is now, play for 12 weeks. And then that's going to perfectly separate the top 2 or 3 that you think are there. And usually you would say, no, that doesn't really make sense. That's going to change every year, what's going to land there. And sometimes it did to a degree. Like we're saying, every 5 years you'd have an undefeated team that's left out of the occasion. But for the most part, for some reason, it just worked out. It just seemed to, deemed to work out that way. And so, again, that's what I just loved about it is it really just all mesh together to build up that regular season. And then, people can argue again, there's week 16, right? I mean, you have the number 14 team playing the number 8 team. In my scenario, that game doesn't matter as much for the championship, right? Whereas in this way it could, and you could get it in there. But I think it's also the other thing was college football didn't used to be so championship based. You could have a good season. I mean, Iowa State, like this past year, I think they set the team record for wins in school history. That should be celebrated maybe even more than it is, but it's not because it's also championship based now. That's why the bowl games have lost so much value. It used to be a cool deal, even if you didn't win, to go to the Orange Bowl. You're not going to win the championship, but you're one of the few that won the Orange Bowl. Even, for lower level teams to go up there and finish the season, you could finish the season strong with a Holiday Bowl victory or something like that. And now it's just, again, it's just like every other sport, which a lot of people prefer, and the money prefers, and the TV networks prefer, which is more money and just to be championship based. I don't completely that doesn't boggle my mind. I just liked it better when there was kind of room for a little bit more of kind of good stories throughout the season.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. So it sounds like you'd have a top 2, but then it'd be heavily opinion based, not necessarily a computer-based determination as to whether more teams should get in.
No, fire up that BCS computer, dust it off, bring it back. No, we'd have to. You're right. That made a few mistakes. I might have to.
People hated the computer back then. Now people want the computer. I think the computer was a third because it used to be AP poll, coaches poll was a third, and the computer was a third. It was weighted too much. Okay, I always advocated for a committee to be 25% the AP, 25% the coaches 25%, and the computer downgrade a little bit to 25%. Now it's all, if you go too much one way or too much the other, now it's all human opinion. I think it's too much. But you kind of like the old BCS where the regular season is amplified and it matters the most, and college football is one of one, because people would argue, well, everybody else does this, and FCS does this, and everybody else does that. Well, who cares? Like, let's be one of one. Why try to be like someone else? That was always my attitude. Like when people are like, FCS does 16-team playoff. Well, let me ask you a question. How many times have you watched the FCS this year? Like, do you just watch when it's the Final Four in the national championship? Because you're making my point, not yours. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I always thought it was interesting. I do think, again, if you haven't been able to tell, I kind of like something similar to an 8-team playoff. I do like the play-in games, though, like the top 2 G5 teams getting the chance to play in and things of that nature. Because to your point, you look at Ohio State. I looked this up while you were chatting. The final poll, our final AP poll, number 1 Ohio State. Now, keep in mind, Ohio State had one of the worst losses in the entire year, along with, ironically, the team they played for the national title. They lost to Northern Illinois. Ohio State loses at home to Michigan again, a team they were well over a 20-point favorite to win. All right. But you finish 4th in the conference, you can be number 1 in the nation based on how college football currently works. There's the float, by the way.
There it is. There's
$500,000. What's his name?
Mike the Tiger.
Mike the Tiger. $500,000 floating down the road right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, number 1 Ohio State. Okay. Beat number 2 Notre Dame, number 3 Oregon, number 4 Texas, number 5 Penn State. All right. They did not play or beat Georgia or Arizona State, who were 6 and 7, or Boise. But then they beat Tennessee, ran them out of the building, beat Indiana, I believe, by 23 points. So the top 10 teams in the country, the other 9 teams in the country, not including themselves, they beat 7 of them. But that's because of the postseason. So you could have the 2 teams with the 2 ugliest losses in all of college football play for a national title, because that doesn't matter as much. It's not being the best team the entire year. It's being the hottest team at the right time. And that's what you like, college football, you being unique, and you like the regular season mattering more, and college football being one of one instead of trying to be like everybody else is what I'm surmising.
Absolutely. And you know, that is, I like, there's no better example of why this is it was frustrating to me, or devaluing the regular season, because the biggest game that we like to talk about is Ohio State, Michigan, right? That's the biggest rivalry in the sport. Last year's game, again, you don't want to go as far as to say it didn't matter, but it almost mattered in a way that it moved Ohio State into a better seeding position. Didn't have to play in the Big Ten championship. So it really just, it went from Ohio State, Michigan used to be one team wins, one team's out of the championship race, to that game almost the loser benefited from it.
Dude, that's a great point. Oregon was basically punished for winning the Big Ten title. Ohio State was almost rewarded to a degree, seeding-wise, and it did have to beat a lot of good teams, but for losing to Michigan and not having to play the extra Big Ten championship tough game. And they didn't have the 25-day layoff, yet they had a first-round home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Dude, that's crazy to me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, Nebraska's over-under win total, according to the so-called national experts, a little bit of Caitlin Clark, NBA Finals talk, and is Emmett Johnson, I don't want to say being disrespected, but being overlooked. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show when we come back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox. KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 94. Tonight, showers and storms are likely. Some of those could be severe, still low near 68. And tomorrow, showers and storms continuing throughout the day. See an afternoon high near 84. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal Star's Lincoln Choice Awards. Best New Car Dealer, best auto repair, and best place to get your oil changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for best pre-owned dealer and best tire dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at lincolnstars.com today before it sells out.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Wrong is wrong. even if everyone is doing it. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. Again, Jake and I are live here at the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton in Omaha. All right, Jake, you have some exciting news on the Nebraska football front as far as getting, would you tell me, a new lineman there?
That's right.
Before we get to that, all right, why don't you share some of this wonderful information here at Blur? Folks can come on down. They can get some drinks, get some food, have a good time.
Yeah, I've already had a hamburger. It was delicious, and there's more to come if you want to come down here. We're down from 10 to 6 today. Doors open daily from 10:30, so we're already up and running. They go through midnight through June 21st by the corner of 12th and Cass Street. It is the Blur parties on the south side of Cass Street. This is the 13th annual tailgate with an all-inclusive bar and buffet, 18 TVs showing our live baseball games, multiple seating options, including a hammock, as we've mentioned throughout the show. Buy tickets at the door. More preferably, please purchase at blurevents.com/Omaha. As we kind of get into it here, tickets include all-day access from Friday out to Wednesday. I should say now where we are, move Monday through Wednesday here. You can get the deal lunch and dinner buffet, soda, water, and a cash bar for $84. You want lunch, dinner buffet, soda, water, beer, wine in the cash bar, that'll be $114. And if you want some mixed drinks in there as well, that'll be $134. And then June, as we move forward into the month, I'm trying to get lost where we are. June 21st, if you're planning on that, the prices will drop a little bit. $64 for lunch and dinner buffet, soda, water, and cash bar. $94 for lunch and dinner buffet, soda, water, wine, beer, and cash bar. And then once again, the mixed drinks option there, $114. A lot of people like the mixed drinks option. Lunch, dinner buffet, soda, water, beer, wine, and mixed drinks. So come out and join us. It's the best place to be at the College World Series. It's perfect, especially if you want to get out of the sun for a little bit. Is nice here with these fans going. And I feel like they do it a little bit bigger just every year we come out here. And I love the, what is this, the grass turf we get to sit on, stand on.
Got some turf
looks
in here.
Beautiful, yeah.
Very nice. All right, share the exciting news with the fine folks at home.
All right, just over an hour ago, Nebraska picked up another commitment for the 2026 class, this time from offensive lineman Hayden Ainsworth. Ainsworth is an offensive tackle. He again made this announcement this morning, and he chose Nebraska over North Carolina State specifically. Those were kind of the two schools he was down to, but he had offers from Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, and more. Rivals has Ainsworth as a 4-star prospect, offensive tackle. He stands 6'5", 305, so he's already, kind of in college, at least shape. I don't know about shape, but at least has the build for it. And he hails from Mississippi. Once again, I said he's a 4-star, at least by Rivals. Some other services have him have a 3-star, but he is the second 4-star in this class so far. If you go along that range of what Rivals has him rated, along with C.J. Bronow, who has been taking some visits. So it's a big commitment for Nebraska. The second offensive lineman that joins the class, of course, Wex Waterman joined the class last week. So we're seeing the 2026 class start to pick up a little bit here.
Yeah, they're now up to 6 commitments. He's ranked the 70th best interior offensive lineman in the entire country. And to your point, I mean, he's basically already the size of a lot of offensive lineman starters that are out there in college football right now. Doesn't mean he's to that level just yet, but there's reason for excitement, optimism. He's got some major D1 offers, a lot of other schools that are looking at him. So I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and the question that I posed in the headline was, should Nebraska be concerned about where they're at recruiting-wise? And it's because a lot of publications have them ranked last in the Big Ten, 18th in the Big Ten right now when it comes to recruiting in the 2026 class. But there's always more to the story, all right? There's always the rest of the story, as they used to say. Well, the rest of the story is the 7-on-7 tournament, all the guys that got on campus. And you knew there was going to be a lot of interest, a lot of probably commitments, and guys who commit and play at Nebraska. What they have, about 30, 40, okay? 30 to 40 4- and 5-star guys that were on campus in Lincoln at the university. And a majority of those guys would not have been on campus in the past because they've never done a 7-on-7 tournament quite like that, the battle at the Boneyard. So I posed it as a question mark in the headline, okay? Because when you dive a little bit more into it, sure, if you just freeze frame it, that's how I phrased it that day, that can be a little concerning. But when you look at the whole picture, it's very early on. The way that they're doing this, they're not going after a gigantic class. They're going quality over quantity. And they want to get a lot of the guys that were on campus who normally would not have been inside Memorial Stadium, in Lincoln, at Nebraska, who got exposed to a lot of things, and you just hear nothing but positive ranting and raving after that from a lot of these guys that are 4- and 5-star guys, including the one who just committed from across the country. And I think you're going to see more and more of this as we head into National Signing Day. Again, a lot of time before December rolls around. But I think we're just going to see more and more of this. And this is, I've called it a swing for the fences approach when it comes to recruiting for Matt Rule. And I said, if you're going to do this, you better walk up to the plate with a big freaking bat. Well, he's walked up to the plate with a big freaking bat by being ingenuitive and by being cutting edge and by doing things they've never done before and getting in front of guys and being in conversations with guys that normally Nebraska may have not been in conversations with in the past. And these are some of the best players, the most talented players from across the country. So I'm curious to see how this unfolds. I am optimistic about how it's going to unfold, especially over time. And again, December is a long ways away, but as December approaches, I get excited about what I believe is going to happen between now and then. What say you, Jake?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's different than the recruiting world we had 10 years ago, because I mean, I could see a world where this class maybe doesn't jump into the top 25, yet the transfer portal class is top 10. I mean, we've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it probably depends too on how well the season kind of progresses, especially for that transfer portal class, to see how, if Nebraska is a hot up-and-coming school. So I think all that stuff's interesting. Like you said, they're kind of swinging for the fences where you land. Maybe not. Some of those guys you might not land now, but if you're second or third now, keeping contact with them might be open again for the transfer portal class. So, recruiting used to be a lot more just kind of definitive, where you land, where you stand, where you need to get to. Now there's just so much room to really still have a pretty darn good class, even if you're not recruiting the high schoolers all that well. That it's hard. It's easy to shape a narrative, but it's hard really to land on what you're kind of getting out of it. And then, as always with recruiting classes, you check in 2 or 3 years from then, even half that recruiting class is gone. Now again, it's just so it's so jumbled up. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm not at any sort of alarm rate whatsoever. I don't think I'll necessarily get there again, because they could decide at some point to have a small class.
I'm not an alarm rate at all. I think when we did that episode, was that a week or two ago, and we were 18th, and I think we're right around there still. I'm like, no, this is a long-term play. You're not going to get these guys right out the gate. These guys, they're going to have offers. They're going to have interest. When people have offers and interest, they can take their time. It just is what it is. So this is a long-term play, and this is something that's going to go probably right up until the moment Matt Rule walks on stage in December for the signing day class, and it's pretty much wrapped up at that point. That happened last December. Was it Janarian Parker? I think another school was trying to pull him away, so to speak. That went right up until the moment he stepped on stage for that press conference for last year's recruiting class. I believe I have that name correct, but for me, this is something that's going to be a long-term play, and I wouldn't be surprised. Even if it's not a large number of players, I wouldn't be surprised if it's still a top 20, top 15 class. It may be down there due to possibly being not as large of a class, but the quality is going to be there. And if I'm Matt Rule, here's the other thing. Okay, let's just be real about this. Human nature. If I bring in 3 defensive ends that are all highly recruited, what are the odds of all of them being around 3 years later?
Not great.
But what if I bring in 1 or 2, and I really believe in those guys? The odds of them being around a few years later are much, much higher. So maybe you're bringing in less guys, but you also expect less guys to transfer out because you're being more selective and hopefully a higher batting average of the guys you're bringing in, coming in, being impact-type players. So you have less guys leaving. So you don't need as many guys coming in. And that may be one way that he's looking at this too, because that's just kind of what human nature is. You look at particular rooms of teams across the country, like that room's loaded. The odds are some of those guys are going to be gone. But if you've got like maybe 1 guy per class, depending on the position, like if you're offensive line, you need more guys per classes than you're necessarily going to need for a quarterback. Only 1 quarterback's on the field at the time. You got 5 linemen. Okay, but you could look at it almost like, hey, as long as I'm getting 1 guy per class that's really, really good, again, depending on what the position is and the amount of players you need, that could be all you really need. And then you have guys who stay longer, who develop better, you build better team chemistry, guys are less likely to go, and that could be part of this equation as well.
Yeah, it's so fascinating just to kind of to kind of play different thoughts through it, because I do think, I guess to kind of sum up my thoughts there a little bit earlier, is that if you combine the transfer portal class and the high school class, I think Nebraska will finish with a top 25 class. They almost always do. And so I don't really fear that too much. I mean, I think there was one year Pelini's where they're in 30th or something, but, you know, it's just all in that range. Nebraska, if they're going to move up, you know, obviously we've talked for years about the development side of it, and that needs to kind of match the recruiting rankings that they're kind of getting. But if you want to move up specifically in recruiting and to really kind of get me, you know, really into it, you got to do what Matt Rule is doing, which is fight into that upper tier, try to get the kids that Ohio State is getting. And so we'll see. I mean, if they can move up into kind of a 15th overall class or something like that, that's when that's outside the normal. That's doing something significant. And that's, you know, like, or prospects like Dylan Raiola. There's plenty of, you know, there's a lot of good prospects in every class, but Dylan Raiola is kind of at that other level. And that's why everybody got excited. That doesn't always mean they're going to be great. Baker Steinkiller was really good, but he was supposed to be, you know, great. And we see it every class. Like Amir Abdullah wasn't the highest ranked running back of that class. And Dominic Sue wasn't the highest ranked of that class. He was highly ranked, but not of that class. So, you know, that doesn't tell the whole story, but it obviously we've seen with recruiting rankings in the past, it tells a big part of the story, because the teams that ultimately win the championships are usually, you know, in those top 10 recruiting rankings.
Yeah, you have to trust your own self-evaluation as much or more than just the national recruiting services that are out there ranking kids. You make a great point. It's not just the high school classes we know anymore. I mean, you could argue the transfer portal class may be more important, okay, at least right now until the reigns of college football and the wild, wild west gets died down a little bit. So it's the combination of the high school class, the transfer portal class, and again, the transfer portal class at this point in time, I don't like it this way, but may be more important right now until the wild, wild west gets reined in just a little bit. All right, a couple of real quick things here. NBA Finals, Jake. The Oklahoma City Thunder have pulled it to 2-2, even in the series. All right, Game 4 from the other night. Indiana actually outscored the Thunder the first three quarters. All right, they had a 7-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and then they got outscored by 2 touchdowns and lost by a touchdown. And I was rooting. I'm rooting for Indiana to win this series, but I was rooting for Oklahoma City to tie it up because I want 7 games.
Yeah,
that's what I want. And so when you look at this series, I do feel like it's been an intriguing series. I do think it's kind of what the NBA needed to a degree. What are your thoughts on the series so far? And then I believe we have Game 5 tonight. All right, back in OKC. What are your thoughts on the series so far? And who do you got winning a very pivotal Game 5 tonight?
Yeah, it's been interesting. The pressure of the team that loses the previous game obviously kind of makes, you know, it puts the other team as the favorite. That's what we've seen so far, right? Indiana took Game 1. Oklahoma City was favored throughout the series. Okay, Oklahoma City ties it up, but Indiana got what they wanted to out of that road trip. Then Indiana takes Game 3. Now the pressure's on Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City now takes Game 4. Now, yeah, it's tied up, but Oklahoma City has home court. So tonight's going to be a big, big opportunity for Indiana if they're going to want to ultimately win the series. Now throw the rest of it out, right? You've got 3 games left. 2 of them are going to be in Oklahoma City. You're going to have to steal one, and you'd rather do it tonight just so that you get the opportunity, obviously, to close it out at home and in the worst, you know, get back to Game 7. So we'll see. Oklahoma City, I think, has long been thought as the better team. It was interesting how it kind of played out, like you said, the other night, because so far the series, it's been Indiana's playing behind, and then they make their big push. Oklahoma City kind of did the opposite, you know, did that role the other night, and I don't know. I've been there, unfortunately, with the Pacers, with my Celtics at times, where it's like, that was it. That was the fourth quarter we needed. That would have been game-changing. That would have been series-changing. That would have brought home a championship, and I think that might happen to the Pacers ultimately. I think Oklahoma City will probably take the game tonight, and I'm hoping for 7-2, but now with Oklahoma City have home court, I think they're probably favored again to win this thing.
See, now it's to what I like. Now it's double elimination. It's the best out of 3. Now this is what I like with the team with the better record having the home field advantage, so to speak, because like you said, Oklahoma City, if it goes 7 games, Game 5 and 7 are on their home court, and Indiana would have Game 6. So this is personally what I like, a 3-game type of intense series that's left. Man, I'll tell you what, you look at this, all right. You look at this, Oklahoma City is the NBA's winningest team this season, have not lost 2 games in a row in more than 2 months. Okay, now, as I look at this, because I'm reading what Jalen Williams, Oklahoma City Thunder star, had to say, and I quote, aside from game planning and scouting, this is like a totally new series. Like I said, I look at it as a 3-game series now, and he's saying they're doing the same thing, end quote. And now another quote, you're treating this as game one of a 3-game series. You know what I mean? End quote. And I personally feel like that's a clean slate attitude. Like it's 0-0. It's best out of 3. And that's what I love. All right. Another quote here from Indiana guard Tyrese Halliburton. And I quote, it's the best part about the playoffs is when you get the chance to respond. End quote. He's talking about having lost game 4, getting the chance to respond in game 5. That will be tonight. I will be tuned in. I will be paying uber amounts of attention to it. All right, so you're taking Oklahoma City tonight. Is that correct?
I am.
Well, each team has shown that they can win on the other team's home court. They both have won a game on the road. You know what? I'm going to go with Oklahoma City tonight. I'm going to go with Indiana in Game 6 and a Game 7 in OKC, and I'll save my prediction for that when it rolls around. How's that sound?
That sounds good. I think that we'd all get what we want, right? We all just want the Game 7.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we head to break, did you know, this is per University of Nebraska at Omaha on X, did you know the College World Series statue outside of Charles Schwab Field, the road to Omaha, was designed by former UNO student John Latcha. He used 13 UNO students as models while designing it.
Wow,
all right,
I did not know that.
I'll hold it up for the fine folks on YouTube to see. Okay, Jake, I don't know if you were looking over my shoulder. If you weren't, there it is.
That'd be cool to be one of the models. You go out there and see your statue. You're just a student.
You know what, Jake? I could definitely see you being a model one day in the future.
I would love it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750. All through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Summer is here, and it's time for Acres postseason planter parts sale. Save big on all in-stock John Deere planter parts. Get an automatic 10% off your purchase, or get 15% off when you spend $5,000 or more. Buy over $10,000 and get a whopping 20% off. Visit your local Acres location today and stock up on planter parts and save thousands. Hurry, this sale ends August 31st or while supplies last. Acres, your John Deere dealer. Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 94. Tonight, showers and storms are likely. Some of those could be severe. We'll see a low near 68. And tomorrow, showers and storms continuing throughout the day. An afternoon high near 84. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket, live from Blur Tailgate at the Hilton in Omaha. We're here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Doors open daily from 10:30 a.m. to midnight through June 21st. Corner of 12th and Cass. Can't miss the big white tent for Blur parties on the south side of Cass Street. This is a 13th annual tailgate with an all-inclusive bar and buffet. 18, count them, Jake, 18 TV show and live baseball games. We got some going on right now, don't we?
Not until 1. That one will be the elimination game.
Those are replays.
Those are replays.
All right. Multiple seating options, including a hammock. Buy tickets at the door, or more preferably, please purchase at www.blurevents.com/Omaha. All right, Jake. Chad's live texted in. You get SEC bias thinking from every team is good. Need to do an NFL schedule since it's pretty much the NFL now. I think he was talking about your playoff model, what you would prefer. What's your response to that real quick?
Well, I think he was saying like kind of the human error of trying to use those instead of kind of having it played out on the field. And, you will have that from time to time. Again, that's why I think the best model was you either go to undefeated or you don't. And then if you had one loss, it was kind of like, okay, well, now we can have an argument about which one-loss team gets in, and maybe it might not be fair. But my argument always was that, well, don't lose. If you're number 2 going in the championship game, you should be lucky to be there. You should try to be number 1 going in. Again, that's a very cutthroat. You have to win every game, but that's what I loved about college football. And I think more once you get into like the biases and the arguments, we saw this last year with the SEC where they're arguing number 12, 13, and 14 should get in. I think the further you go down, the more you kind of have that argument because then there's more teams involved. If you just kind of keep it to a smaller amount, then I think any sort of bias will be left out, and it'd be more back to win your conference championship, or very rarely might be if you had a 14 playoff, right? You'd very rarely have a team that didn't win their conference championship. I should say very rarely. We've seen teams win there out of the SEC, but it just seemed like the less amount of teams you're arguing over, the less the bias of a person deciding it would factor in, I think.
Well, the less teams you're going to get from the same conference, the less amount of teams you have in general. So there's going to be less bias towards a particular conference. All right, serious question here. And know that I'm the less is more. I'm the emphasize the regular season in college football type guy. But I got to ask, if you're going for undefeated teams, isn't everyone just going to schedule patsies then?
They might, yeah. The old non-con, it didn't necessarily go that way, right? Nebraska would play games out of the gate that would be challenging. I think you kind of would have to try to incentivize that one way or the other. Maybe it's, with television market to get opportunities, to get eyes on your program. But you have to be kind of sneaky because there are programs out there that might look to duck competition a little bit to try to get in because they think their conference is so difficult. So, yeah, I think the problem with having 136 team is there's probably no perfect way to do it to cover all bases.
So I keep alluding to things. The only reason I don't go through the whole diatribe, I kind of gave you a brief peek during the break of what I'm thinking in my utopian college football playoff world. If I could start everything over from scratch, I need more time to figure out the minute details. But one of the things I would do, I told you I would have less teams, less conferences. I think in the scenario I'm thinking there's going to be like 80 to 90 teams. The future of college football down the road is somewhere around 40 to 50 teams, Big Ten, SEC. That's what it's going to be. I've always thought 120, 130 was kind of crazy, a little excessive. In my utopian world, probably be about 80 to 90, maybe 4 even power conferences and maybe 2 G5 conferences. And if there's 16 teams in each conference, what does that come out to? Like 96 total teams, so something like that, which even then seems like a lot based on what I'd like, but that's just kind of what the numbers come out to. All right, a little bit of Caitlin Clark news here. She returned the other night. Caitlin Clark's 3-point distances she made in her comeback win over the weekend. Her team, anyways, the Fever. She made 3-pointers from 33 feet, 27 feet, 31 feet, 26 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet, 26 feet. Do you know how far the 3-point line is in the WNBA?
I can look that up.
No. I've got it in front of me. I've got it in front of me.
She's well beyond it.
Yeah. What's your guess? What's your estimation?
I would sound like an idiot because I'm not very good at that.
That's okay.
Thing, so I better not.
I want you to sound intelligent. You're on the show with me.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that helps the show. Kind of like Big Ten winning makes Nebraska look good here.
That's
the 3-point line is 22 feet.
Okay.
So she's shooting from 11 feet, 5 feet, 9 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 9 feet beyond the arc and making it look probably easier than how I make layups look, if I'm being honest with you. All right. In her comeback game, she had 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and as you so acutely pointed out, 7 turnovers, but we don't talk about those. All right. Oh, and the TV ratings were down 55% while she was sidelined for the WNBA as a whole. So she is a draw. All right. She is a draw one way or another. And again, sports is big business. Good to see you, Michael. Michael Severe popping by, saying hi. One of the best in the biz right there. All right. Emmett Johnson. We may save the win totals for Nebraska tomorrow. We'll see how things play out the rest of today's show. But I've seen numerous rankings for running backs across the country. I don't often see Emmett Johnson listed as one of the top 25 running backs in the country. I feel like he's one of the top 25. We'll see. If he ends up top 40, if he ends up top 10. I feel like one of the top 25 running backs in the country, and a lot of this depends on how the whole offense works together. Obviously, Holgerson, Dillon, and the offensive line opening holes. But as far as what Emmett can do, he's a good all-around back. He just has this knack for finding the hole, a.k.a. vision. Some guys just have a balance about them. Some guys are big, fast, strong, but they go down easier than you think they should. Some guys don't go down like based on how you perceive their speed or their strength or their size, but they don't go down as easy as they should, and that's balance. And that's the ability to find the hole, and that's the ability to accelerate at the right time and have patience at the right time. That's what I see with Emmett. Okay, but I've not seen him by very many people at all, if anybody, rated as one of the top 25 backs in the country. And what prompted me to bring this up, all right, this is Big Ten Football Talk, ranking the top 20 running backs in the Big Ten entering the 2025 season. Again, Penn State, according to this, has the top 2 running backs in the Big Ten. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. All right. Then you go to Oregon. Then you've got Minnesota, Darius Taylor. You got Washington, Jonah Coleman. You got Ohio State, C.J. Donaldson. They lost 2 of the best backs in the country. Probably the 2 best backs in the Big Ten last year. All right, both second-round picks, I might add. You got Indiana. You've got, let me see. Is that Michigan? That's Minnesota. That's an ugly gopher. I can't even tell. Then you got, I don't see Emmett here as one of the top 20 backs in the Big Ten. And I was just
Big Ten, wow.
Are you serious? Oh, it depends on who you look at. Okay, so it's two of these guys from the Big Ten Football Talk. The other co-host has Emmett. Oh, I just saw it. Where'd he go? Wait a minute. He's not on. I thought he was on one of them. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah,
he's
15th
15th. Okay, so on this one, he's not in the top 20. According to the other one, he's 15th. To not even have him in the top 20, barely in the top 15. Like he is a good running back. He's a good all-around running back. He does so many things so well. I personally now feel like he's barely eking into the top 15, and this is all projection. This is all guesstimation. We all know that. It's freaking June right now. Okay, at some point, cleat is going to hit grass, and we're going to find out who's really good at football and who's not. And Emmett Johnson is going to put that cleat to grass and show that he's good at football. But to barely crack the top 15 and not even the top 20 running backs in the Big Ten, according to honestly, a couple of publications. This is just the one I screenshotted. What are your thoughts on this? It's crazy to me.
It's definitely interesting because obviously the Matt Rule and staff, they believe he's one of the top backs in the conference. I mean, they at least recruiting wise, it looks like they didn't go out there and add to the room. And, there's all this thought, with Nebraska moving up around the country, everybody's looking at Dylan Rail and taking that next big step. But we saw from Dana Holgorsen in that pairing with Emmett Johnson was kind of the biggest benefactor of that, 3 games into the tenure of Holgorsen. So we'll see if that continues. I think it might. I will ask you this, though, because I think they are, but not completely sure of it. And maybe they have to play this hand one way or the other. Could some of that factor in, he didn't get a carry against Illinois. His own staff, if they would have valued him as a top 10 running back, maybe would have had a higher usage rate, especially early on in the season. Like I said, now I don't think you can really debate it, along with what's kind of going on in that room. He's by far the most tenured there. But, I think that might have been holding him back is what we said all along. I think just about everybody at the station, there's a large swath of Husker Nation that thought, hey, get Emmett Johnson the ball more. Let's get more out of him. He's really our only big play threat, and still didn't see as many carries as maybe we'd like to see, early on in this season. I think, again, it was corrected more when Holgorsen got involved.
I mean, that is a fair point. As you pointed out, there was a game where he didn't get any carries. There was a game where he got 1 carry. Combined 1 carry for those 2 games, if you talk about those games specifically. So there's probably a little bit of perception is reality until it's undeniable. And then you change perception, and that becomes reality. So perception is reality, and a lot of people right now are kind of looking at, maybe his stats as a whole. About 500-600 yards combined last year. That's not going to wow you. And if you don't dive a little bit deeper and look into it more in depth, he had 39 receptions. 23 of them were the last 3 games of the year. That's when he was getting a lot more touches, a lot more catches, a lot more carries. Holgorsen takes over, and he shows what he can do. Again, he's an all-around back, and he has he's just like a football player. There are some individuals, you watch them play their sports, and you just say they're a player. Whether it's a basketball player, whether it's a football player. I've played with and against individuals who play faster than they are. And I know it doesn't make any sense, but you see them and you watch them, and I don't know what Emmett's 40 is. I'm talking independently of Emmett Johnson right now. You see them, their 40 time, and you're like, well, not that fast. You watch their tape, and they're like, oh, they must run a 4.3. They just play faster. And then there's guys who will run a 4.3, and they play like they run a 4.7. Like Emmett Johnson to me is, and again, I don't know his 40-yard dash time. So to me, this is independent of Emmett. Now coming back to Emmett, I watch him play just a football player. Like he doesn't go down as often as you would think he would. He has a knack for bursting it through a hole where I'm like, I have to like rewind the tape. Where was that hole? Oh, there it is. How'd he see that? You know what I mean? He's got the ability to do those things. And if you're a national pundit or one of these guys who covers the Big Ten as a whole, let's be real. You're going to focus on the teams that are going to get more clicks. And that's Michigan. That's Ohio State. That's Oregon. That's Penn State. Maybe USC. Nebraska's probably not. I don't know. We have a passionate fan base. We might be in the top 5, probably 6. But you're going to focus on those teams. So you may not be as up to speed. Having done a Big Ten show, I can tell you right now, this is kind of how it works. You're maybe not as up to speed on some of these other teams. Like they could probably tell you everything about Oregon's backfield, but Rutgers, I don't know. You know, I can tell you who the starter is, but beyond that, they may not know as much. And some guys will, to be clear. Some guys may not. So I wonder if they just look at his stats as a whole, how the season played out as a whole, and they don't look at the end of it and project forward, hey, this is what happened when Dylan was playing a little bit better at the end of the year under Holgorsen, and this is what happened under Holgorsen as the OC, and project that forward. They might just look at the year as a whole because they maybe didn't look as quite in depth. Maybe not. Maybe they did, and maybe this is just what they think.
Well, and I think you're right. I think stats probably play a little bit into that, and for the reasons we've already been over, his stats weren't top end. I think the other thing too is he's not the flashiest player. I think people, what's kind of held him back, even in the Nebraska room that time, is he's good at everything, maybe not great at any. Right? He doesn't have top end speed. He's not the biggest guy. Plenty of athleticism, but not like a crazy athlete. But he's just, like you said, just a good football player. He uses every bit of what he does have to be a very solid running back, and especially, and this is, kind of I don't say the new age, but obviously back in the 90s, you're talking about toting the rock. Out of the backfield, it would be hard for me to imagine there's a whole lot of guys in the Big Ten that are better than him in the pass game.
I would agree with that. It's funny. I play with a guy in D.C., Reed Dowdy, every year. They would draft someone high, like a Laron Landry, or they trade for someone. I'm talking about safeties here. Brandon Merriweather, right, who won a Super Bowl and was a first-round pick and all that. And every year, Reed Dowdy would get overlooked. He didn't look like he played for the team. He honestly looked like he worked for the team, okay? And Reed and I are really good friends. Our house was actually 15 minutes apart when we lived in Colorado. So we became really good friends when I got there. We were really good friends beyond that. I mean, his wife, wonderful family, even donated her kidney to help save their son's life at one point. They have 4 kids, okay? So great dude. Every year, he would get overlooked. Come game one, he'd be the starter. Every year. Somebody would get hurt, somebody would get suspended, somebody would have a bad camp, and he'd be the starter. And he was just Mr. Reliable, played for, I think it was 9 years, almost a decade. Went to Northern Colorado, was just overlooked. Okay. And I would give him crap because I could, and we were close enough. I'd be like, dude, you don't look like you play for the team. You look like you work for the team, brother. But he'd be out there starting with us. Come game one, play one. You go to Emmett, fourth on the depth chart as a freshman, last half of the year. I know there's a lot of injuries, but he was our best running back. Last year, not a ton of carries, as we know, early on, belabored that point. The end of the year, our best running back. He reminds me in a way, and there's vast differences, but in a way of Reed Dowdy and what I saw, not only with Reed, but other players throughout my career and other sports and growing up and whatever, but just the guy who makes plays, the guy who's there. And finally, at least from Nebraska fans, he's getting the appropriate shine that he should. I want to see it across the Big Ten. I want to see it across the country. He averaged, again, 20 and a half touches per game. So basically 21 touches per game the last 4 games of the year, 3 to 4 games of the year, and about 120 to 130 total yards of offense in each one of those games as well. I mean, if we could get that going forward, bro, I'll take that.
Absolutely.
Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln. A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red!
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Summer is here, and it's time for Acres postseason planter parts sale. Save big on all in-stock John Deere planter parts. Get an automatic 10% off your purchase, or get 15% off when you spend $5,000 or more. Buy over $10,000 and get a whopping 20% off. Visit your local Acres location today and stock up on planter parts and save thousands. Hurry, this sale ends August 31st or while supplies last. Acres, your John Deere dealer.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Once again, we are live at the Blur Tailgate at the Hilton in Omaha. We are here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Doors open daily from 10:30 a.m. to midnight through June 21st. Corner of 12th and Cass. Can't miss the big white tent for Blur parties on the south side of Cass Street. This is the 13th annual tailgate with an all-inclusive bar and buffet, 18 TV show and live baseball games, multiple seating options, including a hammock. Buy a ticket at the door, or more preferably, please purchase at www.blurevents.com in Omaha. All right, Jake, I got this graphic here. Teams that have not had a losing season in the college football playoff era. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, exactly 10. I want to see how many you can get right. Can you get 70%? Can you get a C?
Let's see. Ohio State.
Yep.
Notre Dame.
No.
Notre Dame's not one of them. Okay.
Nope.
Well, that's not a good start. Alabama.
You don't get punished for wrong answers.
Okay.
It's just how many can you get right? What if school was like that? That would have been great.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Alabama, correct. You got it. There's 2.
Clemson.
Yep, 3.
Let's go with Michigan.
Nope.
Oh, Michigan's.
You got to remember, they had some hard years before they won that national title, at least by Michigan standards.
Yeah.
Remember, they were trying to fire Jim Harbaugh at one point?
That's right.
He took a pay cut, then won a national title. All right,
I was trying to think if Georgia?
Yep, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's
Those
on
are the
there?
easy
Okay.
ones. The
Yeah.
last 6 are the more challenging. Can you get half of the last 6?
Somebody that's just been consistently good. Wisconsin's out of the race now.
Correct.
South Carolina?
No.
No.
I'll show, don't look at the screen. I'll show the fine folks at
All
home.
right.
Okay. He's got the top 4. It's the bottom 6. Can you get half of them?
Oregon had a bad year.
Correct.
I'll
give you a hint. 4 of them, 5 of them are non-power conference schools.
5 of the 6?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I was going to go down a bad
And you
guessing
probably
route
won't
with
get
them.
number 6 either. Because I'll give you a hint. They've never won a national championship.
Okay. Boise State.
Okay, that's not the one I was talking about, but yes, you're up to 5 now.
Do we do Notre Dame?
You already said Notre Dame?
I already said Notre Dame. All right. I think of the model of consistency in the group of 5. That's why I went Boise State.
One of them's a bit of a cheater because they just joined like legit Division I status about maybe 2-3 years ago. So it's a little bit of a cheater here.
Yeah.
But technically they fall in. James Madison.
Yeah, I was going to pick up on that one.
Liberty. I would not have gotten that one.
Okay.
I don't know 11 years worth of information on Liberty football. Iowa. I tried to give you a hint with the no national championships. I tried to give you the hint.
I got that one, yeah.
All right, there's 2 left.
Iowa.
Right now you're at 5. Can you get one of the last 2 to get to 6? Can you get a D? And again, this was not easy. I sprung it on you, and it really might not be fair. But
And
that's
these
okay.
are group of 5 schools?
Yes.
I'm worrying. I'm worrying about myself. No, I can't.
That's all right. I probably wouldn't have gotten more than 5 either, especially having it sprung on me. And a lot of these are just kind of random teams that I would like. Liberty, James Madison, Toledo.
Yeah, I wasn't going to guess Toledo.
I might have gotten Memphis. I don't know. Iowa wouldn't have even occurred to me. I do think Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Boise. I would have gotten those 5. Beyond that, it would have been a little bit challenging. So my question, you come back to undefeated teams versus the strength of schedule versus one-loss teams. What about Boise when they go undefeated? They automatically should get a shot at the national title in your playoff scenario. What about Liberty when they went undefeated a couple of years ago? How does that work in your playoff? That's why I brought this up. How does it work? Like, you're commissioner. I'm a nobody. Okay. You look, you look in your eye. You got excited about that scenario. I'm a nobody. You're going to tell me what to do. How would you handle undefeated Liberty, undefeated James Madison or Boise?
I don't mind the idea of kind of these play-in games. You have these, you kind of already have, and that's why I hate it, because I love the BCS in that era. But I really do think the best way probably is 4 teams. It really would give you a little bit of room to work in some of these type of situations. I don't mind having them kind of play against each other for a spot either if there's 2 undefeated group of 5 teams. Again, usually you have to go through all these scenarios because they are possible, but usually it won't play out that way. But we will see it. It's every week 9. I always loved that about it. Leading up to week 12, there was all these possibilities that could happen, and somehow it would iron itself out to usually be pretty good. But for those undefeated group of 5 teams, I especially with like a Boise State now playing in the Pac-12, back in the Mountain West days, I thought that those were pretty good conferences. So I didn't have a problem with them. Even UCF, I think they probably should have had an opportunity to play for a championship. So, it's not the strengths of schedule. It might not be completely fair. And it might be just the fact that I kind of like a little bit of Cinderella in the tournament once in a while as too. I think they'd be invited. Again, if there's more than one, I think you'd have to almost go in with a play-in sort of format to get one of them in.
You know what I would do if I was college football commissioner and Iowa went undefeated? I'd just kick them out of college football. That would make the game better, make college football better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, whole lot of Nebraska-Iowa rivalry bias there. It's been a glorious Monday. Have a phenomenal afternoon. Until tomorrow, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.